Hello, I'm D. Brown, CEO, and welcome to this episode of HBCU. Joining me on the panel today is Janice Haith. Janice is the Strategic Client Director for Navy Marine at Oracle. She's from Hampton University. I also have on the panel today Robert Hall, President and CEO of Proguard Security from Norfolk State. Janice, Robert, welcome to HBCU.
Thanks, D.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Listen, so first of all, I know that Norfolk State and Hampton is a big rivalry, right?
Of
course.
Yes.
So before we get started, tell me about that rivalry, Janice. What's the...
I would say the rivalry is because we're two HBCUs across the water in Hampton, Norfolk area, and it's diverse, but it's like you can go across the street or to the river, and we're there, they're over with us, and it's just a rivalry. It's a natural rivalry.
What you have to say about that, Robert?
We're just the best in everything.
I don't know about that.
From academics to sports, we're
I don't know about that.
So I want to start by asking Janice, how did you make your HBCU selection? How did you end up at Hampton?
So my father was a product of an HBCU, went to North Carolina A&T, and my next door neighbor attended Hampton, and I went to visit, loved it. It's waterfront background, as you know. We have the waterfront, that's a draw. Near the beach, temperature's not bad. It was far enough from home, but close enough to get home when I wanted to. So that was why I went there.
Robert, how did you end up at Norfolk State?
I ended up at Norfolk State. Originally, I played sports, basketball, and I had HBCUs locally to come at me for scholarships. But I ended up selecting Norfolk State. It's such a beautiful school, and I enjoyed it. It's the best HBCU I know on the East Coast.
So, Janice, tell me about the first day that you set foot on the campus of Hampton. Do you recall that day?
Sort of, but I remember the day I walked into my dorm, and I immediately met my friends for life.
Yeah.
I met the girls that I have known since freshman year, and we are friends today, and we're good friends, and just the experience, the welcoming nature, the faculty and staff that were there, just the ability to walk across the campus and go to the waterfront, just a great day.
Robert, what do you remember about your first day at Norfolk State?
My first day, it was just a beautiful scene to see. As I always said, people look like me. But it was just good to see the diversity, even though it was more people look like me, but it was a very diverse school, even though it was HBCU. It was just an experience being away from home,
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that experience.
But you played basketball there as well, so talk about your basketball career.
Well, yeah, pretty good basketball player. Like I said, I'm originally from Mississippi, and I had scholarships for locally, Mississippi Valley, Jackson State, but it was important for me not to be local. I didn't want to be local. I wanted to get out, branch out on my own. The basketball, as you know, basketball has been dominant. We dominated. For years. We just recently made it to NCAA twice this year. It's a high history in basketball, great. I love that sport, and Norfolk State represented it very well.
So, Janice, what was it like being on the yard at Hampton from the standpoint of, what were kind of the signature things that occurred that made Hampton special?
Oh, so the Hampton campus has this circle called Ogden Circle, and when you first get on the yard, they tell you, don't walk across the circle. If you walk across the circle, you won't graduate. So it was the thing, you just walk around, not across, because it was a faster way to get to a place. It was great. It's like Robert said, you're on a campus, you're in an environment where you see people that look like you. We had diversity too, but it was just being there. It's like a mini city.
Yeah.
You get to do all these things with your friends. You don't have your family breathing down your neck. You can stay out late. You can hang out, go visit people. It's just a great experience. It's not like anything you can imagine other than attending.
What were homecomings like there?
Oh, phenomenal. I mean, I can't wait till this year's homecoming. We haven't had one for 2 years. And homecoming is like everybody comes back. It's party time. It's just hugging and loving everybody, you know, getting with your organizations and doing those things that you do, just having a great time. Win or lose the game, it's having a good time and seeing everybody. Yeah.
What about for you all, Robert?
Yeah, homecoming is, I mean, it's like every year we go back and just the fellowshipping and just being with, seeing everyone that you hadn't seen in 20-some years, not to tell you my age, but it's just a great feeling to go back and see the university, the growth of the university. I think one reason why it's so diversity there because of the big naval base we have there.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, you know, a lot of the naval patrons, they send their kids to Norfolk State and Hampton, and so it's really good to go back and over the years and attend the homecoming. I just enjoy that, you know.
What was Greek life like on Norfolk State campus? I know the Noops ran the yard over there, so what was that like?
That was my first time really hearing about nukes, to be honest with you. You know, it's the Divine Nine. You know, you know, the fraternities is always great. It's a great life, whether you pledge Sigma, Kappa, Alpha, whatever you decide you want to pledge. It's just a great experience. It was the step shows and just coming together, you know, in your little clique, in your little group, and just celebrating that, the history behind it. It was just great. I wouldn't trade that in for nothing in the world, you know.
And for the record, you are a member of what organization?
Omega Psi Phi. It's the only one that I know. Omega Psi Phi.
So Janice, what was Greek life like at Hampton?
It was great. I mean, it was like he said, the impromptu step shows, the structured step shows, the whole intake process, pledging, you know, just everybody pledged. When you pledged, everybody wanted to know who's online, what are they doing. Everybody was 5 o'clock every day. Everybody's out on the yard. Well, are they coming out? They're not coming out. Are they stepping? What are they doing?
Yeah.
It's just fun. And then the ability to go, like we would go to Norfolk State, they would come over to to Hampton. We would see each other at events and things, and just, you know, the things that we did. We didn't just have fun. We did service too. We did service in our community on the campus and external to the campus. But it's great. It's like you can't experience it unless you have to see it.
Yeah.
You have to see it.
And what sorority?
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, of course.
I'll give you a pound on that.
I'm in trouble today.
That's okay. My husband is a noob. So
Okay. Well, you made the right decision.
But my dad is an Omega, so
That's even better decision.
yeah, see?
So Robert, so talk to me about the challenges that you had while you were at Norfolk State.
The challenges that I had, well, I go back to where I was born in Mississippi, the oldest of 6. When I first left, I attended a JUCO in Texas. I did that for a year, then I decided to visit Norfolk State, and I fell in love with it. My first year at Norfolk State did very well, but the coach ended up getting fired, and the players that he had, scholarship was taken away from them. So with that being said, it was very difficult in the return to Norfolk State, meaning that he had selected his players and the scholarship was taken away. So I didn't really want to go back to Norfolk State, but my mother encouraged me to go back, and I did manage to go back to Norfolk State, enrolled in school, without the scholarship. However, I got everything deferred. The lodging was tough. I didn't really have a solid place to live at the time. It was a tough struggle the second year at Norfolk State. But the president of Norfolk State, Dr. Wilson, it happened to be Russell Wilson, the NFL quarterback. His grandfather was our president at the time. Very good man. He has some ties to Mississippi. He actually coached for Jackson State basketball, so he's a big fan of me. So he was wondering why I didn't play the second year, and I explained to him what went on, and he wanted to know where I was living at the time. I was just all over the campus. I didn't really have a solid place to live, right? that shows the determination that I was determined not to go back to Mississippi, right? My goal was to make...
Where are some of the places you live on campus?
Actually, from the gym to some ball players that I became friends with, to their dorms, back to the gym. Nobody knew though. I was very discreet about what I did. I got up at 4:30 every morning, showered, and off to classes. And so when I brought it to the president's attention, because the end of the semester was coming to an end, right? And so I told him what was going on, and he said, I don't understand, I'm not seeing you playing this year. I said, I don't have a scholarship. And he couldn't believe I didn't have a scholarship. And he goes, let me see your grades. And he saw my grades, and I had all A's. And you managed to get all A's without having any type of lodging, nowhere to live. And I said, yes, sir. Well, I'm determined not to go back to Mississippi because I'm the oldest of 6, and there's not anything to fall back on, you know. The struggle was really tough in Mississippi. My mother, father, I come from both parents, but my father was the only one that worked. 2nd grade education, but extremely smart. You know, back in the day, those people that had very little education, they could do anything, build anything. And so I explained to him my situation, and once he saw my grades, he decided to give me an apartment off campus for the gifted. And that led to me getting myself together. And so he kind of related to that because his experience was somewhat similar, his struggles, because they had a tough struggle coming up, you know, back in the day. So, and that's, you know, that right there in a nutshell, kind of my experience at Norfolk State, which led to me graduating, first to graduate in my family and also receiving an advanced degree as well, all at Norfolk State. So.
Yeah, that's an amazing story.
Okay.
So Janice, talk to me about Hampton. Are there any faculty, staff that left a lasting impression on you?
Oh yes, definitely. Dr. Greer Wilson, she was the head of student life and affairs. She was a sorority sister, but she was just a rock. She had a program called Student Leaders, and I was a member of that. And we actually, when freshmen come in, you're paired with freshmen and you help them learn the campus, how the activities work, the overall, how to do study, things like that. She was one of them. And then I would say Dr. Harvey, he's got a legacy. He came in when I was a freshman. He's retiring this year after a long, long career. But he had a vision then. Obviously, when I was in college, I didn't see the vision, didn't see relevance. But that vision has been formatted, because if you go on campus now, it's nothing like what it was when I was there. It's a new campus with old there to preserve the historical. So his vision is there. His legacy is there. You'll see it.
So Robert, talk to me about Proguard Security. Tell me about your company, what you do, how many employees. Give me a little background on it.
Yeah, Proguard is it's a security company. We basically do all types of aspects of security, from unarmed, armed. We do construction security. We do fire guard directors. We do entertainment security. We do residential and commercial. We started in 2009.
Where are you headquartered?
Out of the Bronx. It's a field that I kind of fell into. I initially, after I finished school, I can go back to that. After I finished school, I kind of got into security. I was teaching school and I kind of got bored with that, and I decided to become a bodyguard. Everybody looked at me, a bodyguard. So, yeah. And so one thing led to another. After a few years as a bodyguard, I decided to get into security. And I know in New York City, me living in New York, is a mecca of security. So I decided to kind of study security, and one way I studied it, I became a security guard from a different angle, just to learn the field and learn the business, making $13 an hour at the time. And so my game plan was eventually start my own company. And so what I did first was got a security school going, created a curriculum and submitted this to the state, which you have to be sanctioned by the Division of Criminal Justice to do that. And so you can't do security unless you have a license. And so what I did, I created this school, and so for over a 12-year period, I've certified over 25,000 security guards, and provided so many jobs. And so I fell into it, and it's been very lucrative for me. And
so how many employees do you currently have?
Right now, I'm at about 700 to 800 employees right now.
Great, that's great. Janice, I know that you were a civilian executive in the military. Talk to me about some of the roles you had.
So I was the Air Force Deputy Special Security Officer, and I dealt with things like top secret information and worked in projects that dealt with intelligence. I was the Deputy Director for the Defense Security Service, and that's an agency within DoD that oversees the industrial security program and some of the personnel security investigations. I worked on the OSD staff in 2 different organizations, and then before I retired, I was the Deputy CIO for the United States Navy. So different careers.
Oh,
wow. Now, and currently, after your retirement from the military, you are working with Oracle, so talk about that as well.
So as a strategic client director, I oversee all of the Oracle business units that deal with the Navy, and we sell product and capability to the Navy and Marine Corps, and try to make sure that we have an integrated message. We have a go-to-market strategy that tells about the capabilities Oracle offers today, for instance, our autonomous solution, and help them as they transform from where they were 50 years ago to where we're going today. Let's do things like that.
Amazing. So Robert, how do you feel Norfolk State played a role in your success?
Norfolk State is everything. I mean, just being there, the role that it played in my success, me coming there as a young man and seeing the struggles at the school and learning from the professors, they kind of guided me into the man I am today. And so there's the experience. I would never take that experience away from what I received in Norfolk State to help me throughout my life.
So Janice, as it relates to Hampton, how do you feel it has contributed to making you into the successful woman that you are today?
So I think Hampton gave me all the tools that I needed, from an analytical, how to be a leader, how to be a follower, how to be a team player, to do those things, to work with others, and to just give you the foundation. You know, it's been great because it's my network. Mm-hmm. And so when you want to do something, you reach out to your networks. And, you know, like I met him, so I'll be reaching out to him for something at some point.
Right.
And so it's that HBCU connection. It's also just the ability to reach out to people that look like you, that can help you and move forward.
Oh, absolutely. So Robert, if you had to tell a viewer or their parents who may be watching this show why they should consider Norfolk State as their HBCU of choice, what reasons would you give them?
Well, first of all, they have the reason why I think they should choose Norfolk State is because they have a very good academic program. Okay, great nursing program, great engineering program, and they're somewhat very diverse. Very good professors. They're going to work with you. They're going to stick with you, and you can always call and count on the professors. And it's just protection around the campus as well with the security. And you feel like you're at home when you attend Norfolk State, even in the cafeterias. They make you feel like you're at home. And I think it's a very good school. Like I say, it's always it may be easy to get in, but it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out, but when you get out, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Right.
What about Hampton?
So yeah, Hampton is the home by the sea, and so I would tell you, like, your foundation for academic excellence is there. Hampton offers us an array of opportunities for internships for students. Architecture, engineering, nursing are big in Hampton. Business school, we have lots of people in the business school that go out and do massive things in the Fortune 500 companies. So it's a foundation. And I think that people should never overlook an HBCU. I mean, look who's the Vice President of the United States.
Yep.
Right? Look at some of the people that are coming up in the world. HBCUs generate leaders.
Yeah.
And so it's the foundation, so don't discount it.
Robert, what accomplishment are you most proud of?
Well, I'm mostly proud of myself is graduating. Being the first to graduate on both sides of the family, and just setting an example for not only for my brothers and sisters, for my cousins and other young men and women that's coming up that come from single parents or just a poor environment from the South. And I'm also proud of the fact that I provided I said about 50,000 jobs in New York City, in the urban city.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud of that as well.
So Janice, I don't want to miss the opportunity to just have you touch on this, because during 9/11, you were the senior official in your department when that occurred, and you actually heard and witnessed it. So talk about that for us.
So I was telling somebody earlier, it's a defining moment. It was surreal, but it was really hard, because the day before I'd been at the Pentagon and had lunch with a bunch of my Hampton friends that work at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And so it was an ability for me to use my leadership skills in a different environment, something I never thought I'd experience, but to also, I had people that worked for me, and to just make sure they were taken care of too, that they weren't afraid, we were gonna be okay. It was just going to take some time, and we would get through this. So it was a defining moment. It was.
And you talked about how everyone was motivated after 9/11
Yeah.
To go back to work. Talk
Everybody
about that
came
briefly.
back. It was the next day. We all were like, well, we didn't know what to do, so we were like, we're going back to work. And we were sitting there. We were all trying to get on base, and you couldn't get on base because they were going through this rigorous security. But we sat there for hours, and we got on there, and we stayed for 8+ hours every day. And we kept doing it. We're like, what do we have to do? Who do we have to help? It was just a constant, but it was the desire to make sure that somebody was protecting us, we protect them.
Right. And so in your role, just take about 30 seconds to just talk about the top secret clearances that you had.
Oh, so I had several top secret clearances. I work with agencies people don't like to talk about, CIA, NSA, and even in the service intelligence. So we did a lot of things with cases like Iran-Contra, the Imelda Marcos case, cases people don't even know about that are going on today. Still a lot of work with that, and
Right.
making sure that that intelligence information remain protected.
Wow. I mean, both of you all have two totally different paths, but at the same time, two amazing stories. And so at this time, what I would like to do is to recognize each of you for your continued commitment and support for historically black colleges and universities, and
thank
also for the success that you all have had in your professional careers, and how that you have, through your success, highlighted and showcased the excellence of HBCUs. And so for that, I present you with the HBCU Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank you.
so much
Thank
for
you.
being on the show. I really appreciate it. And to my viewers, thank you for watching this episode of HBCU. And remember, without you, there's no me.